just like washing your hands. You know, you're not going to get everything, that you can get most things off that way. Okay. And then the other thing that you can do is remove the tip ejector. Okay. So you just get it, you don't want to put it in the orange, that's not an effective place to flame sterilize, but you put it in the blue, that's where it's hottest. So we keep the ethanol outside, you remove the cap like that, and if I wanted to do some spreading and I wanted to sterilize this end for spreading a plate, I come outside, do that, come in, flame. And you just let it burn off. You can hardly see it, but it's actually burning the ethanol off. Okay? So you don't actually need to get it that hot, and it's done. Okay? Take the cap off. I'm going to take this cap off now. Down. Flame the neck carefully. Okay, now you're ready to pour. Measure out 25 mils. Remember, it's microbiology, so you don't care if it's like 27.5 or 23.5. That's 25, okay? So that's been poured. And now you want to close up your bottle. So to close up your bottle, you do it the opposite way. You flame the neck, and you flame the cap. Don't burn your fingers, just let it dance over the flame a little bit, and then you can close it. Flame the neck, bung back in. So the bung thing is really, okay, so I'm going to take my bung off, flame my way in. I'm not going to flame the pipetter. Don't do that. Okay, and now you can open this guy up. Whenever you're manipulating a plate in the hood, leave it in its lid upside down. Okay. Grab a tip, bring this up to your face like that, and have a look. Grab a colony, put your plate down. Okay, get my spreader. Okay, so now I can take my plate, put it on here. Okay, so I can do one of two things. Like I don't necessarily need to use this. Okay, but I can put my cells on there, and now I can spread. So it's a very efficient way to spread your cells. Okay, once I'm done spreading, the first thing you do is re-sterilize. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to use this. If you're just doing one plate, it doesn't really make sense. If I were just doing one plate, I would simply take my plate, pipette my cells on, take my spreader, and just do this. Okay, to spread. Flame your loop. And as that's cooling, get your plate ready. Now, you can try and reach down there with your loop and grab some cells. Now that's probably a bit far, so that's not reaching, so that's no problem. Put your cells back on the block. Re-sterilize your loop, put that back. Take that off. And you can sterilize the barrel. Okay, so that's nice and clean now. Open this up and try and grab some cells with your tip. You can even pipette a little bit if it starts to thaw. There we go. You don't need much, right? You're just inoculating. And then you can spread on. Now it's much easier if you have a loop to do this, but to streak, you generally just streak in one direction like this, like that. Rotate 90 degrees. Go like that. Rotate 90 degrees. Go like that. And then finally streak to the middle. So what I'm doing when I do that is I'm diluting the cells so that eventually I'll probably get a lawn there, start to get single colonies here, but by the end it'll be single colonies the next day. Okay. So if you've done a fair bit of work in here and you want to transition to some other activity, don't be afraid to back down and spray the deck again. Okay. So notice how this sleeve of plates has been used. Totally, but you haven't used all of them. That's totally fine. The inside of the bag is sterile. You fold the bag over and you tape it. You can even put the date on it to let people know that it's been opened at a certain time. This is sterile, okay? Like, it's fine. You can keep using this, okay? But you only open it in here, right? So you bring the bag in and open it up. Take the tape off, put it there. And I'm going to be putting my hands in there. My hands aren't that sterile, right? So I'm going to sterilize my hands with ethanol. Now, the inside of the bag is not super sterile, right? Like, it's because people have been going in with their hands, but it is relatively sterile. But the plates themselves are always sterile as long as you don't open them, right? So I bring a plate out. I bring two. Leave them upside down. Say I just want to pour 2 plates. Normally I would probably pour half a bag or even a whole plate if I'm doing a lot of cloning, okay? And now flip them over like that, and now I'm going to pour. So this agar is kind of getting a bit warm. I may not be able to pour very well, so I'll see what happens. So I'm going to flame my way in. Again, try and keep the area around here clear. Flame your way in. Okay. Now I'm going to pour. So I leave the lids on to start. I lift the lid. Pour until you get a nice smooth, I would say about half full, and then I take the lid, push it to the back, and leave it like that. Okay. Then I take my next plate. Same thing. Push to the back. And you can keep doing that, okay? Some people will stack them. If you do stack them, of course, the lids will develop condensation and they'll be kind of wet. So it's better to kind of let your plates set with the lids off so that they stay nice and dry when they're done. See, this just takes maybe 10 minutes. And once they've cooled down, then you can put the lids back on and put them, you can put them in a bag, seal them up, put them in the fridge, okay? So maybe I don't use all this LB agar today for whatever reason. Flame my way back in. Done. Okay. Feel free to sterilize your hands multiple times when working in here. That's totally fine. Okay, so I take my sterile tube Take the cap off, put it in the back, cap down, put that there. Then you can open up this package, but don't take the filter out, okay? And just leave it like this. And now I can take this plunger out, put that down, okay? And now I can insert it into the filter, okay? So now I can add my solution. So you can carefully add it like that. Try not to spill into here. Like, you want to keep this clean. This has to stay clean. If you spill into here, start over. Okay? So careful with that transfer step. This is good to go. I now put this on top of my clean tube. Take my plunger. And I can sterile filter in. Okay? So that's one way of doing that. The other way of doing it is what you might think is more traditional way. You can get the solution like that. Maybe wipe this down with a ethanol. Get that clean. This might actually be safer. Then connect. Okay. Okay. There we are. So that's sterile filter. Okay. So we do this. We do this with our antibiotic stocks. You don't, like I kind of wonder whether anything can grow in 50 mg per mil kanamycin, maybe. But we do sterile filter into 1.5 mil Eppendorf tubes. So you might make 10 mils of your antibiotic stock or 5 mils, and then aliquot it out using a sterile filter into sterile tubes. Actually, that's another thing. If you guys want tubes on your bench, you can put them in something like this. It's the same principle. If you want to get tubes out of here, you only open this in the hood. Okay, so you bring this into the hood, clean your hands, and now you can open this safely. If the deck is clean, you can just shake out a tube, or you can use sterile forceps to grab a tube. Okay, but this always gets opened and closed in here so you don't contaminate.